I was thinking about Halloween in the year 1999. It was like the last year of analog. It was the ending credits of the 1990s. October 31st, 1999. I was 22 years old, so the height of my, gothdom as far as defining myself. Always your early 20s. We'd be wearing platform boots that would survive the Y2K apocalypse that was upon us. The world still smelt like cigarette smoke and VHS tapes. 1999 had a kind of ending feeling. Of course, there was all the drama because it was Y2K and the survival kits and what's going to happen when the year turns 2000. But in addition to that, it kind of felt like the last year where everything was analog. The digital world was starting to take over. You'd occasionally see like commercials on TV that had .com addresses in the corner of the commercial, and you're like, what, Tide soap has a .com now? Like, what is this world coming to? I was in my prime goth clubbing era at this time, living in San Francisco. It was before I ever knew I would be an artist somewhere in Las Vegas doing videos like this, but prime time, wild and crazy and ready to dance. So this video today is a love letter to like the last dance party, October of 1999, and basically what it was like to be goth in the year 1999. I was looking back at what films were released in 1999, and there was so many amazing and iconic films that definitely bled into our goth culture. We had Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. Stigmata came out. Patricia Arquette, and that was amazing. Come on, that's a great movie. All these sort of world ending kind of movies became popular. Sixth Sense was released, which sort of brought M. Night Shyamalan into the light. They did remakes of one of my favorite movies, House on Haunted Hill, as well as The Mummy with Brendan Fraser came out that year. But the one movie that I thought was very poignant was The Blair Witch Project. Now, this was the beginning of the whole POV sort of live first-hand experience view. It was an era when MTV had a show called Fear come out, and it was all about like getting people's reaction shots. And I remember actually at the time I was seeing someone who is a film major, so we wanted to go to opening night of Blair Witch Project it was in Berkeley, I think was the theater we went to. And it was a line to get in, and we watched the movie, and you felt like you were like there at the beginning of something, like, oh, what's the future of cinema now? But I also remember I got knocked in the face and one of my contacts fell out of my eye mid-movie. So the whole entire time I have no peripheral vision on one side of my head while this movie's going on and afterwards. So I was kind of like freaked out after the movie was over. Memories from 1999. But movies were only like half the story of what was going on. Music-wise, we had Nine Inch Nails' Fragile was released that year. Marilyn Manson was really popular with Mechanical Animals, and we can debate whether Manson even belongs into the goth category or if it belongs into something else. That's a whole nother thing we could talk about. The Matrix soundtrack was going crazy. Orgy came out with that Blue Monday cover, so there was this sort of like pop electronic music thing going on, sort of mixing itself into the goth scene. And Sisters of Mercy released a greatest hits album called 99. So it's like the ultimate collection album for the collection for that year. I love that. The vibe of the year was DJ industrial mixes of albums. Cleopatra soundtracks were still going hard. Clothing style became a mixture of The Crow and The Matrix. Lots of vinyl, lots of silver. And yeah, the internet was starting to haunt us too. The horror of dial-up was still a thing. LiveJournal was released, and I remember Dead Journal. Do you remember that? It was like kind of like the goth LiveJournal that was able, and you could just go on, literally blog your personal emotions out onto this thing and then have it public for the world to see, or they could like join your subscription and then read all of your personal thoughts on there. I really wish LiveJournal or Dead Journal would come back into fashion. I guess they kind of are in a different way, but I don't know. Did you have a LiveJournal? What was your name on Live or Dead Journal? Please drop those in the comments because I want to know. We had vampire fan pages. You had those little things on the cursor that would follow it around. Sometimes they'd have some fangs on there or a little bat following it. Very goth, very 1999. Even Hot Topic in 1999 was at its prime goth era. It was more about velvet and long dresses and weird stuff that I was like, I thrift. I don't wear that already built clothes. That's for the younger generation. Yeah, we were like not mall goth. We were like on that edge of mall goth, you know. We were goths that would occasionally go to the mall, not goths that came from the mall. The first iMacs were released. Those really colorful, crazy iMacs. Can you even believe we had such giant monitors back then? I can't even wrap my head around it now. And just the whole Y2K fear thing. Like, if you weren't there, it was literally crazy. You would go past those, like, just survival stores that sell, like, MRIs and, you know, like, cool jackets and combat boots. That's what I thought they were for. But now you could buy your Y2K survival kit, and it was literally like a canteen, some MRI. Like, what the heck did we think was gonna happen? I remember being very very pshaw about anybody who was worried about the whole world shutting down, like it was gonna be an episode of Dark Angel. Remember Dark Angel? I love that show. But yeah, it wasn't, you know, 2000 hit and we were all still around, and I was honestly disappointed. We you know, I've always wanted an apocalypse, right? What a time to live through would be an apocalypse. But anyway, alas, nothing did happen, but the chaos beforehand and all the crazy shit people would buy to represent Y2K was ridiculous. Fashion-wise, we've talked about it. Bondage pants, silver eyeliner, silver lipstick, silver eyeshadow, silver. Torn fishnets, crazy platform boots that you see in, like, what is that movie? Somebody's school of weird kids where she has the big boots on. That was just like normal shoes back in 1999. The aesthetic of the year was dark, apocalyptic, because it was sort of the end of the world vibes. That's what we were all going for. So it was very matrixy, very silver, very like everything looked like a computer. We all wanted to be a robot. I would have worn my t-shirt from Bones and Black back in the day. It kind of looks like a Skinny Puppy logo a little bit, right? Where it was some fishnets. We're good to go. So yeah, Halloween, 1999, goth culture. It had an end of the world apocalyptic vibe. The music was edgy, more industrial. The style was silver. VHS tapes were still a thing. The first phone with a camera came out that year, you know, and it had like the little screen with that little camera thing that's like a 16 pixel picture of something. I don't think I had one when they came out, but boy, I wish I knew where all those photos off of those phones went, what computer they're sitting on, because there are so many missing photos from those camera phones. I digress. Back to 1999 tech. I love tech. But yeah, the analog darkness had its weight, and I can still smell my CLOVE cigarettes that don't even exist anymore in the air, and it was definitely a different time. And maybe that's why we're still haunted by it today. Okay, and for those of you who did stay to the end, you are my people. You like the 1990s. So I made something for us. It's a Goth 1999 survival kit collection. It's basically a collection of things that I would have packed in the night back in 1999 that they were the closest things that I could get to that reminded me of me and my bestie out or hanging out at the house getting ready to go out. This was the kit of this is the collection of little things that bring me back to 1999. There's some blue lipstick, there's some fishnet gloves, there's a Bones and Black t-shirt. There's some CLOVE candy so that we can remind ourselves of what it was like to smoke those CLOVE cigarettes without the actual smoke anymore. Collars and a couple other things that are just screaming 1999 goth culture. So you can grab one of these kits on my Etsy creator collection. And you can also snag a Bones and Black t-shirt or one of my Switchblade Symphony posters to really complete your 1999 experience. It's a way of kind of keeping that VHS spirit alive, you know, off the internet and into your mailbox. So check it out if you want a 1999 party. Thank you for watching this video and reminiscing about 1999. If you were there, give me one of your 1999 memories. And if you weren't there, thanks for coming along. And I will see you on the next one and on the dance floor. Bye.